this position?
Yeah,
coming out of the broken marriage.
It gave me the confidence, and I was like, wow. Before I was so judgy. I would judge the beautiful woman. I would judge a single woman.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
You can appreciate how much something means to you, and therefore you have something else. You, as another person outside of me, you also have things that light your soul on fire, and you deserve to do them just as much as I deserve to do what I need to do.
That's it. So, everybody, I tend to think most people have a gift. And if someone is gifted with beauty.
Or the dancing skills.
Yeah, the dancing skills.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful to watch. I can't believe that people would judge that. That's amazing what they did with their body. That's a talent. That took so much work for them to do that.
Yeah.
How could we sit there and say anything other than what it is?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what? Because there was a poll? Because we say that
bad thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's probably just as many playgrounds with poles on them as there are strip clubs. True.
There's more.
Yeah. But another thing that killed me was the conversations around crotch shots. Like Michael Jackson.
About how they looked from the back. Oh, it looked like she had this on. I did see that.
Yeah. Well, she clearly had some like thick leggings to like hold it all in because, you know, everything stayed perfectly.
Bathing suit. I mean, she was so covered.
Yeah.
I thought they were extremely covered, you know?
Yeah. It's a costume, regardless. And when you really want to complain about crotch shots or crotch grabs or whatever, I'm like thinking of like Michael Jackson, you know? And it's hard to associate or disassociate because he became very famous with his crotch grabbing, also molested boys, but no one really paid attention to that because he had money and fame. So it's like, and it's still a really famous dance move to do that. So,
and you notice that's like, we're much more accepting of men that do things like that. Women that come out as anything, they're ostracized and you never hear about them anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but men are definitely, there is an absolute double standard, and it's probably across the world still.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that men can do so much more and be freer. And, I've seen that now just going from being married to being single. I moved to a neighborhood and I was the only single woman. And I'm a runner. So it's like I'd run and I felt like I could see everybody in the neighborhood saying, "Oh, come inside."
Yeah,
to their husbands. Like, I wore 3 sports bras. Sorry. But yeah, it changed it changed how I felt. I feel bad now a lot of times when I go out. It's like, boy, I don't want your,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not in any way trying to, I'll talk to you, I'll talk to your husband. And I see, people do get very nervous and they get apprehensive. They think, right away. And
so how about when you're performing? Have you ever had any awkward experiences where women have...
Tell you the truth.
Men or women, actually.
Women hit on me often. I would say they hit on me more than men.
Yeah.
I would say the most awkward experiences is just men are the men tend to be very entitled. And they think if you're a woman and if you're working at a place that they can do whatever they want. So I had someone grab me this last time at the casino. Pretty good. He got me a lot more than most people would do. And I had to bite him. And left him screaming that he couldn't do that. But you know what? It happened.
Nonetheless, you bit him.
But, I would say women in the casino they come there to have fun. People have a different viewpoint.
Yeah.
And it's when you see a woman like that or a person in a normal situation that you can't stand them.
Yeah.
And then if you see them at some place like the casino, all of a sudden they're fun. They're the flamingo girl or the contortionist. Yay. And, we'll have the husband and the wife all over you. But if you see them in a different circumstance, they don't want you to interact with them.
Yeah, sure.
Which kind of stinks because it does set it that people want to see you in one situation and they wouldn't invite you over to their house, I guess, is what,
Sure.
Which I'm an amazing person. I'm a nurse. I would say that I would definitely, you'd want me to come over to your house. I'll show you how to cook a good meal and teach about microbiology or something at the same time.
Yeah. So you're a nurse. Let's talk about the other side. So you're a nurse, you're a mom, and...
Yeah, and I've got 3 girls.
Yeah.
And I have 3 amazingly strong, independent women. My children they're amazing. I've got one that's an MMA fighter, one that's a boxer. They're very confident. And I think one of the reasons they are so confident is because they see me out there doing what I'm doing and accomplishing all these things.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling them that it's bad.
Yeah.
And I have my older daughter. She's a 19-year-old. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. In college to be a microbiologist. And she's never had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I have been a very open person. She can do what she wants. And because I've been so open with that and open with, I'm not, you have to talk about sex and stuff like that. And they don't want it. She doesn't want to go out there and have it.
Yeah.
Whereas here in America, we're so hush-hush. Everything is so very, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. And we have kids sleeping with each other and getting pregnant when they're like 15, 16 years old.
Sure.
Because they're not talking about it with their parents because it's so taboo.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw my last episode, but you got to watch it.
No, I didn't.
It's an entire episode of that conversation.
Oh, really?
A guy wrote a book here locally. It's a letter to his daughters, but it's all like really blunt ways to talk about that stuff. So it's really good.
It changes because we raise them so, and then we create people like who I was. Which was, I was a housewife that judged all these other people. I allowed myself to be abused. I allowed all these things because I wasn't confident with being a woman and being beautiful. And I started doing that, and I realized I'm worth so much more than this little box I've put myself in.
Yeah, sure.
And it gives you the confidence. Why wouldn't we want our daughters to feel that? Yeah, if you look at the other kids that are so suppressed, the other people, they don't have a good result often.
Yeah.
They don't.
Sure. I think there is something to be said for people that give their kids the freedom to be who they want to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Versus those who restrict them completely. I mean, as a freshman in college at one point, I remember seeing those who went off in the ambulance after a night out drinking, and then those who were able to handle it. Like, happened, and you can see.
Yeah, we're so afraid of nudity in this country, which is, I don't understand that. What is wrong with the human body? Why are we so weirded out by it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you see a butt, everybody has a butt. Why is that something that's like, oh my God, it's an R movie, don't look at it?
Totally, yeah. It's funny. So this could kind of venture into a whole other conversation.
I really could.
Like we had the Victoria's Secret fashion show, which is something I used to love watching. Which, I mean, I think that they're very unhealthy looking. Actually.
Yeah, they're so thin.
But in the same sense, it's like just kind of interesting, like amazing that these stunning, like skinny, these are like Barbie-like figures, you know. That was kind of cool. But then you have these uproars over breastfeeding mothers, which which I also would go crazy when I see stuff like that. Yeah.
And that's something that's very much American too, that weird feeling about breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Because I was raised with the Hispanic part, it's all like, Mother Nature.
Yeah. And it's free. It's free. So everyone does it. Like, as my firstborn was born in Europe, and 98% of the people nurse, and the two that don't physically have like a medical issue. They can't. So the support they give mothers was like,
unbelievable.
It's like, because it's so normal. It's like part of it's like literally the same process of like, this is how we deliver babies. This is how we feed them. Like it's that natural, where here it's like immediately like, oh, what are you going to be doing? Like, well, I'm going to feed them. Like, I don't know. Like, how should I do this? Like,
people don't know. We will watch a cow or another animal and think it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But our own
so
species, as soon as you see a boob, you're like, oh.
Yeah. And another gross thing that if people really want to think it's so gross, if you drink milk or eat cheese or eat yogurt or any dairy products whatsoever,
thank you.
You are eating breast milk of a cow, of many, many cows that makes it to one tank and gets mixed together, and then you're eating it. Yep. So if you're really grossed out by it, you should probably reconsider what you're eating.
We have quite the... we section off sex in this country so much. We put it in a box. Just like I said, people will love me to death. at the casino, but they don't want to talk to me outside of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you have it spot and you can't talk about it, and it's so...
Yeah. Do you think that people are more apt to talk to you if they're drinking?
Absolutely. I mean, come on. People love... Whenever they're drinking, they're more free. And then they'll say exactly what they say, like, boobs.
Yeah.
Usually, you know what I mean? Or to the girls, it'll be like they'll follow them around, booty girls, you know? That's what they obviously enjoy.
Yeah.
But it's the women, too. And that's so funny because the women enjoy it just as much as the men when you're working.
Yeah.
You know, they love it. And they'll get up there and they'll be confident and do crazy things for a minute.
Yeah.
And they're doing it, too. But they're going to be so judgmental.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people, I've come in contact, you know, doing these jobs. I would say a large portion of the U.S. does have a secret life in general.
Yeah.
You know, they have their normal life that everybody sees, and then they have their weird, kinky stuff.
Yeah.
And nobody knows about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
I would say that's true.
Doing the whip thing, definitely people first thought is, are you a dominatrix? And they just want to tell me everything.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're a dominatrix. No, I'm not. Oh, but you, and they'll just tell me all these things. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. So how did you learn how to, like, do these things?
Well, actually, my great-grandfather was the only man to have ever caught and trained wild buffalo. So he did that back in the 40s and 50s and traveled with the circus. So he caught wild buffalo, and he played Wild Bill Hickok with whips. With whips and guns. So I have a lot of pictures of him with buffaloes and, you know,
that's cool.
Dressed up like a cowboy. So I thought, you know what? I thought about 5 years ago, why don't I see if I could do it? I bought a whip. And I spent about 3 months in my backyard looking like someone had killed me. No, I whipped myself. I had whips this way, whip marks that way. It was terrible.
Oh my God,
I was so beaten. I was going into work and they would be like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
I'd have like a strip across my face. But then I got it and nobody else could get it. Mm-hmm. And as I started to progress and it got so, I was like, this is amazing. And then I started going out. I called up the casino one time and I said, you know, I sold myself to them, and people loved it. People want a reason to be happy, to have fun.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, which is kind of sad because they only have it here in certain places.
Yeah,
you know, they don't let it roll over. They're so uptight in their everyday life, and they save all their fun for just these little excursions where it would be so much better if they had that a little bit more in their life. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's fun to let them have that experience, though, and party with them. I get to meet amazing people also. You know, they're very interested in things. I would say that usually by the end of the night, though, a lot of times people do expect. I stopped doing private parties because what I found is that when people are very wealthy, they feel they can have whatever they want.
Yeah.
And that there's nothing that's off limits.
Yeah. Sure.
So if you're at their party, they think they can buy you right along with everything else.
Sure.
And that's not the way it is.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes that can be tough. But that's probably an area where I would say, even I, would say, okay, if there's somebody who is very insecure and they're making these decisions because of financial reasons and feeling pressured, now we're opening the door to a conversation about sex trafficking and all these other things going on, and that's true. Like, especially the porn industry, I think, is very full of women
that are unfortunately pretty broken,
yes,
very,
and they're
very bad.
Doing it for money or fame or just attention, and they're not there for the right reasons.
Absolutely.
So this is very different.
No, absolutely. Because I guess you could have a skill at having sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, too. If you are there because you want to be there and you're like, because I'm making this much money and I like it and this is what I want, then I'm not judgmental on that.
Yeah, there's very few people that are like that, though.
Yeah.
Usually they're doing it for, unfortunately, different reasons.
Yeah.
And it's usually about the money and they're driven there.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy money, and you find out. Yeah, I have I know so many people, unfortunately, that have done that, and I would say I see a toll on them.
Yeah.
Very much so. Almost like they lose faith in love or whatever, because they see a different side of the whole thing. They don't come out the same person at the end. But I shouldn't say that. I do know some girls who in college do the sugar baby stuff. Mm-hmm. And the sugar daddy stuff.
Yeah.
And they turn into wonderful, accomplished women, you know.
I know a girl who did that, and she had quite the time, and she's very married now with the kids, and she's become one of those like super heavy duty Christians. So, like, sugardaddy.com. Come on, girl. Are you serious right now? Don't even tell me you're.
So she had all her fun. She's like, no more, no more.
I know. She's like, I think she's on like cleanup duty for the rest of her life now.
My goodness,
goes
that's
to church.
funny.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, I was raised really Christian too, so maybe I'm on the other end of it. I think that I was so repressed when I was younger, and then when I was 19, I like got everything pierced and dyed my hair pink. And I got married pretty soon after and went back to the repression.
Yeah. It was your comfort zone. It's what you knew.
But that's exactly being repressed and not allowing those things, I think, created the environment for me to not have a good life and be that, you know. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
It took me doing this and finding confidence that people, and you know what? It does feel good to have people look at you and tell you you're beautiful. Mm-hmm. Why is that horrible?
Yeah. Sure.
Why? I'm a singer. People tell me I have a great voice. Mm-hmm. If you have something that's nice about you, I just don't understand why people get so mad about it.
Yeah.
There are some things that I never had to work on my voice. It's a natural talent. Mm-hmm. Should you hate me because of that?
Yeah.
You know, or the girl who's beautiful, why would you hate her?
Yeah, for sure.
And she's using what she has, too.
Yeah, for sure. So, I had a little shout out to Angela Mayer. She was the yoga instructor on my retreat. She is a singer and songwriter in Iowa. Today, she posted something on Facebook about how annoying it is and how many times that she's been told to get a real job, get a big girl job, and how many times somebody who works in the arts, music, art, industry, it's not taken serious. And they think that you can't make a living. So you teach your children not to do these things, not to express yourself. Mm-hmm. And, art and music being the
richest
utmost.
people, though.
Yeah.
When you meet them, the people that are repressed are the ones that haven't had those amazing experiences because they were too afraid to.
Yeah.
And then you have these other people that are open, and they're the ones who have done these crazy things their whole life. And then when you get to be a little older, those are the ones you want to be around.
Yeah, yeah. And
everybody
rich
else is boring.
Like when you say rich, I take that as life experiences.
Yes.
Because they're just so cool, and they have so many great stories to tell. And
because I think we're so based on money and what you are and having that perfect little wife and husband and household.
Yeah.
And they're not that.
Yeah.
Out of the norm.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I think you can have all those things, but the reality is that the imperfections are what make things perfect. And when you live in fear of anything ever being out of line, how much do you miss? And when Angela said that, all I could think of was like, how many people say you need a big boy job or you need a big girl job? I guarantee you have artwork hanging in your office. You have entertainment at your holiday parties. You have people who choose to make these careers for themselves, working for you at times. So if it weren't for people brave enough to step and say, this is the job I want. You can call it what you want, but this is the job I want. You wouldn't have those luxuries. Yep. Those are luxury things,
It's almost like we tell them they're not grown up and this and that. It almost seems like maybe they're a little jealous.
Yeah.
That they're not doing that amazing thing too.
Yeah,
Trying to follow I've noticed a lot of times people want to hang out with me and hear about the things that I've done and the stuff, and I feel like, why don't you do something great too?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My life is this way just because that's the way I am going to have it.
Yeah.
I'm never going to stop. I'm always going to try these amazing things. I put a cap on my life at one time, and the cap is off now.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's so much better.
Yeah.
I feel so much happier. I I wish people would have that awakening too. I think there would be a lot more joy, a lot less divorces in the U.S. and people so worried about all the materialistic things so much.
Yes, totally agree. And I think we compartmentalize what we need to be doing in life. Like, okay, I'm a mom, so like I'm pregnant, so I'm not going to be doing anything else but raising children and nurturing this pregnancy.
And also, if you're a mom, you can't be this sexy, beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Which, what the heck?
Yeah. I agree.
You should get all dressed up. You'd probably just be the sexy.
I love dressing up. You see me out on a Saturday night. I think that's the funniest thing is that if you know me as a mom or you know me as Heather that likes to go out, because I love watching live music. And I don't know if you know, my boyfriend's a musician and I get to see him play and stuff. But there's two different styles for me because I'm in the gym or with clients during the day, and I don't wear makeup because I don't like to spend time doing it. I don't give a shit, honestly. But when I go out at night, I do put it on. But I didn't start wearing makeup till I was probably 35. So at night going out. So, but during the day, rarely ever, unless I'm at an event where there's lighting and stuff, you will see me having makeup on. So, but yeah, I love getting dressed up and going out, and I don't give a crap. And I've spent a ton of time in Latin America in general, so I'm the girl wearing the stiletto heels.
The difference probably of the cultures.
Oh yeah, what's acceptable to be worn? Absolutely, and I think a lot of people would say, and I say this confidently because I've been told, you dress very different than girls in Utica. And I don't care. I love, this isn't anything different, but but when I go out, I get dressed up and it's fun. So, but yeah, it's cool to hear the other side of the story. And I think my intention for even bringing this up tonight is to show people if you feel like doing something and it's always been a burning desire of yours to try or just see, just check it out for yourself. Who are you to say that you're not worth it?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would have never have guessed that I would have been doing that. When I first started thinking about doing it, I pictured myself. I was like, oh, I want to be on the stage with the confetti gun at lava. Boom. There's I'm like a 35-year-old mom. That's never going to happen. Hey, I did it.
Yes. So we're getting so off. I said something earlier when we first originally started talking. One of the things you said to me, we've been sidetracked. I tried to bring this up earlier, but this is just too exciting. Was you said you were so empowered and you felt so good to see these Latin women up there. And I thought that was really cool too, because you should have always felt that way, but
they looked so good.
Yeah.
They looked amazing. And that energy and the feeling.
Yeah.
Why would you interpret that as anything other than what it was?
Yeah, for sure.
Like a celebration. Why? I don't understand why the human body and looking so
talented.
Yeah, that was great.
Super, athletic to me. It was just.
I know, and their ages too. Yeah. Man, now that is awesome.
Yeah, 50 and 43.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, my main point, one show showed you inspiration, hell yeah, so I just imagine when people see, the more they see, the more we can talk about these topics in the light that I feel as they should be seen. I think the more it doesn't feel so heavy for people.
People don't I notice with the music, people don't do music much anymore, unfortunately. People tend not to go after those weird little dreams.
Yeah.
And they're everything.
Yeah.
Even if you only do something for a little while, it's amazing.
Yeah, just to say, even if you have an experience, I think you grow a little bit, and I think you get a little bit less judgmental when you've experienced something yourself to understand how this could be important to somebody.
I was a horrible person. I used to, I was like, she's skinny and she's blonde. Don't like her. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then when you get out there and you have it, they're just people, just like everybody else. Yeah, they don't have to worry about what things look like. Yeah. Because everything looks great on them.
Yeah, for sure.
They're still awesome people. Yeah.
It's when I think of, my process of growth, especially the unplanned pregnancy was just huge for me. But prior to that, it was just really funny. I don't think I've ever been that judgmental. We've always been pretty laid back. I was raised in a very laid back, chill, very open-minded home. But I did take in my marriage, we lived for a short time. I lived for a short time in a very suburban neighborhood, with a lot of stay-at-home mom status kind of life. And it was really interesting to see how my house was the hangout house and letting loose. You know, I got these women who have their fancy dining rooms roped off because they want their kids in there, but you're in my house spilling red wine all over everything.
Yep.
You know, so it's just like, I think I've always been a little bit into that spot, just loving having a good time and enjoying life, not through drinking and just that, but just through, I think, letting
Being
loose.
open and accept.
Yeah.
Not being so judgmental, and if somebody's there, like, that's different and cool, enjoying them for what they are.
My favorite people to see outside of their home were the ones that were the most uptight. You see them let loose a little. It's like, yes, good for her. She needs it.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Last time I was at the casino, I had my daughter's elementary school principal and all the teachers came through the line.
Oh, geez.
And they were so, you see them and they were very stuffy. That's how I had seen them.
Sure.
And they saw me, they recognized me, and I went after them. I'm going to get you. They loved it. They cut loose. They were insane. They were crazy, But it's also funny because those also aren't people that I probably would seek me out to say hi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. This reminds me of a funny story. A couple years ago, my friend got married. We went to Clearwater for a bachelorette. And she's like, do not bring any penis paraphernalia. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. And I was actually flying up from Puerto Rico. So because I live here, I was down there for a month and then coming back this way. So I had everything shipped to the hotel directly. Like we had so much stuff. And one of the things we had was a big blow-up doll. And we carried it with us when we went out at night. And this Indian family took the blow-up doll, and like how stereotypical and judgmental I was that an Indian family wasn't capable of taking this blow-up doll and really doing things to it. It was awesome. We had such a good time. But when it's funny because if you bring something different out and bring it around people that normally wouldn't do something like that, maybe they would do. I don't know. I didn't know them, but to me, it was like, oh, another lesson learned. Don't ever think that like any culture or any type of person is not capable of having a good time with a blow up doll. You know? It was a lot of fun.
Meeting people too, I've realized that the ones that you would think would be so much freer, I've done work with bikers, and I thought they would be so much more fun. Bikers, you got to find me and impress me, okay? Because I had more fun with the people that are the housewives that are going crazy, you know what I mean? That just want to really let loose. It's funny that we're so judgmental about people the way they look, because so often the ones that you would think are not that way at all.
Yeah.
And the really twisted, messed up people are the really normal ones.
Yeah.
And the ones you think are normal.
Like, what are you talking about normal? Yeah. So true. So I posted this earlier. I wanted to share a couple of the things that were responded to this. Not to focus only on the halftime show because... Yeah,
what were they? I had a chance to read like some of them.
Yeah. Well, some of it... let me find it.
I didn't see too many negative.
Yeah, no, but some where I don't think that it was meant to be negative. So I'm not throwing anyone under the bus here. You're all people on my Facebook for a reason. But I would like to comment on some of it because maybe just to shed some light on what you're saying. So one of the ones, it's a very, very, very nice lady I know. She said something about the crotch shots, and she shared a picture of it looks like it's gone.
She didn't want to be discussed.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's gone or whatever, but in any case, it was there. She shared a screenshot of one of the just shots of J-Lo like holding her crotch. And, my thoughts on that is like that, hey, that was a whole performance. Nothing was meant to be screenshotted and
one little
refocused into one area of any of it. So, and I'm pretty sure in that moment, the last thing that any one of those people on that stage was thinking, a mother might screenshot this, and show their kids. So let's not do that because we wouldn't want this to be shown again. Or, I don't know.
If you keep somebody so away from something, I just don't understand. The people that have the problem are going to end up with children that are so suppressed.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the other way we could handle it, if you felt that, first of all, change the channel if you don't want your kids to see it. Mm-hmm. And then, ultimately, because I don't want to judge the people that don't like that kind of thing either. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I was raised differently, but I can't be the one to say how people are going to raise their kids. Mm-hmm. But I think a way that we can still have culture, which is why I love Puerto Rico. Why I love
clash, probably.
It is. It absolutely is, because in Brazil and in Puerto Rico, first of all, you're at any place past 10, 11 o'clock at night. There's still kids out. Yep. The kids are in the bars. The kids are in different performances. Like, you don't separate your kids from adult life.
Absolutely. And that's another thing that we do very much here.
Yeah.
We put our kids away somewhere else.
Yeah.
And we don't let them
not supposed to see
what
this.
real life is.
Yeah.
And then they can't handle the real life when they get there themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
And doing this, I also work some carnivals and festivals. So it's funny because the carnival people that I work with, I bring my kids to some of these carnivals, and we'll spend the night, and their life is so much richer. I mean, other people go camping, and they camp with their kids, and sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's irritating and buggy. I go camping, and my kids are learning how to fire eat and belly dance and do contortionist stuff, you know? And then the people that do that are often, so we have people that are doctors. I'm a nurse. We have teachers.
Yeah.
They have other lives. It's just they've chosen to use their talents, which is awesome, and it's made them such rich people.
Sure. So as a nurse, do any of your patients know that you do this at night?
So, some of them do. When I left my last position, because I tried to keep things but then there's also patients. I worked with a lot of people that were shut in. I worked with the elderly. People who are sick and they're always in their homes and they don't get a chance to get out. So after my last job, I ended it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go see a couple of my patients. And I'm going to make them and these people were so excited. They were so happy. I brought my whips. I mean, I probably had the gun. People in Utica were thinking gunshots were going off everywhere. But it made my patients so happy. They were so grateful, and it's wonderful. And showing your talent, being able to make people happy, how can you ever think that isn't great?
Yeah, for sure. Here's another one. Again, not to name names, it doesn't matter, but I'm not offended. I just thought J-Lo had more class. She's performing with her daughter. She's very talented, very beautiful. She can perform in a more tasteful manner. But offended, I was not at all. So I'm not sure if I see what they...
Tasteful. I wonder what she meant by tasteful. I really think maybe that might be more of a cultural thing also.
Yeah.
I just think we're so unbelievably...
uptight
in the U.S. compared to everywhere else. We have this culture where you can't be a sexy wife. You have to be Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah.
And if you are a sexy wife, then you're probably cheating on your husband.
Yeah. Yes. Totally.
And it's hey, no, I'm hot for him.
Yeah. For sure.
And I got that a lot of stuff too. When I was married, people would think things that just definitely were not true. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm in love and been with my husband faithfully for 15 years.
Yeah.
Sorry if you like my boobs, there is.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's confidence, behind your situation, Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if, Z, do we have any questions coming in?
We've had a lot of technical difficulties.
I've been noticing the flash show over here.
Yeah, there's been, the only comment I got is from Brooke Baker saying she is her favorite pirate.
Do you know who Brooke is?
I do.
Yeah, I love Brooke.
I do, absolutely. I worked with her when I was a teenager at Alexandria Bay.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Brooke is an amazing swordswoman.
Yeah.
So technical difficulties you're having, huh?
Everybody can just listen on the podcast. The podcast is recording the whole time.
Okay,
So is it not taping? I'm just really curious. I mean, what was going on?
It's still live. We're here. So I'll just repeat because now that you've probably noticed if you're watching the live on Facebook that you can catch the replay, and then you can also download the audio versions from iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher. Yeah. So if you did see the technical difficulties on the Facebook Live, we did have the audio continuously going on record. You can catch the full replay. So just remember that. I'll share all that stuff with you later too, so we can make sure people can see the whole conversation. Yeah. But just the live was yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, everyone else, I mean, I feel like my Facebook would generally
Be positive.
would be that
Absolutely.
way because that's how I am. So, but in general.
Well, I've seen there's a total difference. Like I work with nurses, and they're definitely. I mean, I don't go in there. I guess should say there's a difference. There's hospital nurses.
Yeah.
Hospital nurses are a little bit freer. They're like ready to go.
Yeah.
But then there are other nurses that maybe are a little bit more uptight, and they were a little like, wow, she's crazy. But hey, they couldn't help but be interested and talk to me. You know what I mean? So it definitely says something because people seek you out. Even if they want to judge you, they still want to know you.
Yeah.
Which...
Because it's that little fire they have inside that they're just curious, you know. I told you in the messaging, you know, we were talking about like getting people here and talking about this, and I wanted to kind of have different perspectives, and you know, but it was hard. It was hard to do.
You know, and there's a lot of girls because we have several strip clubs here in Utica. So many girls just go in. You can go in and make a couple extra $100 in a night.
Yeah.
And nobody will ever know who you are. You know what I mean? You can name yourself Diamond for the night and go in and make. And I think that if people actually knew, they would be shocked at how many women would do something. Because when you need the money, you know, you're willing to do whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's sad that they would be so judged for doing it because a guy can go out and, I need money. Maybe he'll go fix a car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if he takes his shirt off while he's doing it, his sweat and he's glistening, he's not judged.
Yeah.
But, you know, we go out and, but I wish very much so that it would be a little bit more freer here just because I think it causes so many more difficulties as people age, that suppression and the judgment, and it ends up coming out in other ways, you know, in divorces and, you know, kids, you end up being promiscuous too. If you're so suppressed, your whole parents are telling you that whole time.
Yeah.
And then you end up being promiscuous. If we were a little bit more even in general, maybe we wouldn't have the problems that we have.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, I really thank you for coming on tonight and talking about this. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Well, you talk a lot.
I know. Yeah. I mean, if there's any, one of the things I like to do after hearing from people is ask them any advice, you know, like a one-liner, two-liner thing that you can give to other people watching who you have inspired in a way that you don't, that we would never know. You know, any advice to the general public watching right now?
I'll tell you one of my favorite words. It's an Aztec word. Moyo koyosen. I eventually will be getting this tattooed on myself, but it means we don't have really an equivalent to it in American, but it's she who creates herself. And I think that we so often let the world create us and put us in a little whatever. And why don't we, if more people did what they wanted to do, what made them happy, what their natural talents were, we would have so much more of a happy world.
Yeah.
People are not free enough with themselves.
Yeah.
You know, we got to work, we got to have a family.
Yes.
And we need to stop that. There's a population problem. I'm not saying anything against you. But.
Yeah, you should. Help me up. Yeah. Oh man, I love that. I I swear I gave the same spiel last week. I was at Morrisville College speaking to students on what it is to be an entrepreneur. And one of my favorite things is that I'm doing exactly what I want to do for the first time. And if I had started this 20 years ago, I would be a lot further than I am right now.
Can you imagine the person that you would have been if you hadn't fallen into all the social norms, been all sad and...
Yeah, so even in emotional development in general, of the ages, 19 to 21, it's the stage of society shoulds. And I feel that most people make a decision around that time for what's next based on what they should be doing versus what they want to be doing. And I did make a lot of decisions in that time frame for myself to be doing what what society thinks you should be doing. Like if you're with somebody for a couple of years, you should get engaged. Even for women, how many women? Oh, when are you having babies? I don't want to have any babies. Somebody said, but because you're with somebody, you should be doing that as your next step. So it's really cool. I'm thankful that you're willing to talk about this. It's a different type of work than what society accepts as a norm. And it's not that different. You're a mom, you're a nurse as well.
But you add anything where it has to do with looks.
Yeah.
And it's immediately.
Yeah. Or the body whatsoever.
Yeah, anything with the body. You're right.
Yeah.
We are human people.
Yeah, for sure.
All ties along with our breastfeeding anxiety.
Yeah, I know. Totally.
There's some serious issues.
Yeah, because it's like that's comparable.
It really is.
If you look at how people are judging it, those strippers and breastfeeding are compared.
They are, and it's crazy that they would be compared in any way.
Yeah,
but it just kind of speaks to, because even if it's a natural, just homeo, whatever, pathic thing, people still are uptight about it. So it's just, I think it's our culture. Yeah. Hopefully it'll get a little bit freer.
Yeah, but we have to continue to talk about it, and then
and you know what?
Later.
And if you do, you give all the choices. My girls, they don't plan on having kids. They don't want to get, I raised them with the option, and they're taking it.
Yeah. You never know. They're young. I mean, they have a whole 10 years before they would have to even think about that. Yeah. And know how much we change in our 20s. So you never know.
Please. Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of a fun time, but you think you have your life in order, and
you never end up being what you want to be when you're 20.
Yeah. Never, ever. So, I mean, I think the whole point of all of this is, you starting this 5 years ago and finally coming out of this shell. So, and same from what I'm doing,
I don't even remember the person I was.
Yeah.
It's like I had who I was then, and now I have who I am now.
Yeah.
So much happier. I've done something and a purpose.
For sure. Yeah. I'm a big believer, though, that everything that we do go through is brought with us and kind of supports us more as the goddess that we are. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. The most interesting people are usually riddled with hard times and trauma.
For sure.
But they make it, that's what makes them so interesting, because they've been through so much.
Yeah. Great. So awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
My goodness.
I know. It goes so fast. It's not hard to fill the time. So, but I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. If you have any questions or you want to connect, I know there was some technical difficulties. We will share links where you can hear the audio version of this, which will be available forever. Facebook Live was a little bit difficult. So you can tune in next week. 2 weeks from tonight, I am going to have Megan McRogan, which many of you know. She also has a podcast here at Disruption Network with The Chamber. And we are going to be talking about her story, which she had a premature baby. It is March, which is the big month for premature babies, and the March of Dimes. And her little boy is so damn cute. And we're going to talk about her story and her struggle with him being born so early and how hard that was. So, but how amazing it is now. So, but the reality that it happens, and it's very scary. So I thank Megan for considering that and coming on to talk to me. So everybody have a great, great night. Thank you for tuning in for another unstoppable story, unstoppable people, unstoppable you. I'm screwing this up, so I'm going to start all over again. It seems to be the theme of the night. Holy shit. Thank you for tuning again, where we have unstoppable stories, unstoppable people, unstoppable year, only right here on the D. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. So now we're not live.
Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.